Today is Tuesday, Parashat Vayishlach. In the parasha of this week, Yaakov Avinu forgets some jars after he's moved all his family, and then he goes back to get those jars. Small jars, you think that's something that is unimportant, but Yaakov is not a wasteful person. Anything that Hashem has granted us is to be used to serve Him, and therefore, even if they're just small jars, Yaakov goes back by himself in the darkness of night to make sure that he gets those items that he left behind. Well, as he's there by himself, the angel of Esav comes and struggles with him. It's a struggle that lasted all the way until dawn. And Yaakov is able, in his struggle with the angel, to be able to overcome the angel of Esav. And that's where he gained his name, Israel. Until now he's called Yaakov, Israel, because he was able to wrestle and to overpower even the angel of Esav. And that's where the name Israel comes from. But this episode in the parasha teaches us a couple of important lessons. First of all, in a society that is so wasteful nowadays, where nothing is fixed and everything is disposed just because there is a new one that came out, whether it's an iPhone or anything else, people are into being to some extent wasteful and looking just for the new gadget. Yaakov Avinu teaches us that even the small jars, if Hashem granted you whatever it is, you have to respect it in the sense that you have to appreciate it, and he goes back and gets it. The other lesson here is the struggle with Esav is actually the struggle with Yetzer Hara, with the evil inclination. It's not just an angel of Esav, because Esav represents evil, and Yaakov was Ishtamu Shavualim, and there is a struggle there between the forces of goodness and evil, and it's a struggle that lasted until the Shachar, until dawn, and in a way it insinuates that the struggle will be resolved at the dawn of time, which is when Mashiach comes. But what Esav is able, the angel of Esav is able to do, is to harm Yaakov in his thigh, in Gidan Nashe, which is the place of the sciatic nerve. And the parasha tells us that's why there is a negative commandment, the mitzvat lo ta'aseh, of not eating from the sciatic nerve in the animal, but it's symbolic. The thigh of the person, as it mentions in other places in the Torah, represents the progeny of a person, the descendants of a person. Yotzei Yerech Yaakov are the people who are descendant from Yaakov. So the angel of Esav, well, he's not able to best Yaakov himself, but he finds a vulnerable place, which is the place of the children. And therefore, in any day and age, that's where, as a Jewish community, as a congregation, as a family, we have to make sure that our children are protected in the sense of giving them a sound Torah Jewish education, that we give them the proper values, and that we be very careful that they're not influenced and they're not aggressed by the popular culture out there. And the Esav approach, which Esav was able to harm Yaakov in his thigh, which means that if there's a place that is vulnerable, it's the young children who can be influenced by the values of Esav and the likes of Esav. And therefore, the lesson here is be careful. That's the vulnerable spot. This is why you should give attention to make sure to protect and nurture and give the proper values. And the best way to do it is in a Jewish day school, where the children have less exposure to what the likes of Esav can do, not just to Yaakov at that time, but in any time in history, generation after generation. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.